Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR 25 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we take on Kansas Speedway, where we're coming in with just over $200,000 on the team revenue, which means we can make a few more upgrades again coming into this weekend, and we're going to do exactly that. We bought level 7 suspension as well as a level 7 engine. We finally have a suspension that's above a level 4, which is actually, we do have a level 5 suspension as well, but we'll see how this works out for this weekend. As you see the playoff grid coming into another mile and a half now. Kyle Larson, 2 wins on the season at the top of the standings over Christopher Bell. As we come through into this weekend, Saturday afternoon, this would be, of course, Kyle Larson, William Byron. Those are really the ones to watch here coming into this weekend. They are always on it when it comes to these mile and a halves. We're coming off of a relatively competitive few episodes, so I feel pretty confident as well coming into Kansas. And now another level 7 engine. On top of that, we got a level 7 suspension, so I'm feeling like we can put some decent results up here on the board. As you can see as well, brand new paint scheme with the Grillo's Pickles machine. We've kept the same design on the car, we've just simply swapped the colors around. I think it looks pretty good, and I'm excited for us to kind of start this partnership with Grillo's Pickles and see how long that goes for, as we really aim for some top 25s here, as we were, actually pretty confident and comfortable with the car here in practice. I was feeling like, honestly, we're going to be in for a pretty competitive weekend just based off the pace that I had here in practice. Now, as we were quickly running down the number 3 of Austin Dillon here, and as you can see now, lap 3 of practice, ripping the top here, just getting a little bit acclimated here with running the wall. But watch this, out of turn 4, lap 3, Austin Dillon has no idea that I'm there and decides to squeeze me into the wall, so that was very cool. And then as I was trying to run him back down, I would end up making a pretty big mistake here in turn 3, catch the outside wall, and I'm going to wreck myself. So we continue the crash fest we've been in since Texas with Shane Van Gisbergen. And speaking of that beef we had with SVG in Texas, NASCAR did issue a statement actually coming into this weekend saying that they were not going to take any action against SVG or myself. They said they were confident that the 2 drivers had handled things on the racetrack without it getting too out of hand. Now, actually, Shane Van Gisbergen actually tried to call me this past week before we had headed into Kansas, and here was my response. I hung up the phone on Shane Van Gisbergen. I'm not proud of it. SVG's one of my favorite drivers in NASCAR, so, it is what it is. I wasn't ready to talk yet. Hopefully, if he races us clean today, we'll be able to go into the conversation phase going into the future. But here in qualifying, ripping the bottom in both 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I actually thought I had 2 laps and I was going to rip the top in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 on lap 2, but I realized we only had 1 lap. But it doesn't matter. We put up a competitive P20 result here with the 32.117, so still turned out pretty good, as Kyle Larson and William Byron take the front row over Hamlin, Reddick, and Christopher Bell in the top 5, as we are smack dab in the middle of this field. Now, SVG in P27. As you see the rest of the order here, all the way at the bottom there, Elio Castroneves in P40 in the field for Project 91 this weekend. Now, he almost had a win just recently back there in, of course, Talladega. Came up just, very, very short by just a few centimeters now, as we get ready to go racing here Sunday afternoon from Kansas Speedway. Now, as the flyover goes on to the Jets beeline and down the pit lane. Yes, they do. So it looks like that's just a thing at every racetrack now, as we get buckled in to this number 85 Tricon Garage Grillo's Pickles Toyota Camry, and we're ready to go green for 67 laps of racing. Here we go. Green flag is out, and we're racing from Kansas Speedway. Daniel Suarez lines up just behind, and this is one of the tracks that is still notorious for slow restarts, so that's something we're going to be battling all race long. And you can see, look at the field drive away from me. Any track track where you like restart in first gear and immediately have to shift up into second, this always happens. So we get absolutely dominated into turn one, and we're gonna have to spend, you know, I mean, a good few laps trying to make up that ground now. As well, look who's gonna be directly in front of me. That's the Safety Culture 88 of Shane Van Gisbergen. And you know what? We're gonna give him a nice little bump draft to complete lap 1 of 20 in stage 1, and continue to try and follow him forward now, as he's gonna be right up on the wall where I want to be, alongside or just behind Carson Hocevar. We're 3 wide in the middle between Zane Smith, who chomps the nose on the exit of turn 2. I lifted right there to make sure none of us crash. That was very close on just lap 2 of this race to getting very ugly now, as we ride the bottom in 3. We'll clear SVG, who's going backwards to the inside of the 77 of Carson Hocevar. Big push from behind here on that 34 of Todd Gilliland's, helping me pull even and now get a bit of a run into turn 1 against the 77, as we're going to continue to just commit to the inside. We should be able to clear. We're going to kind of glide up across Hocevar, now get it turned back down the middle as we now glide up there and take the position. So only up to P24, but a very solid start to this race. Now crash in front of us already on lap 3. It's a 48. Alex Bowman's around, caution, and he hit the wall pretty good there, as we are all going to stay out and get ready to go green for this restart. Not the start, of course, Alex Bowman was looking for now, as we will restart P24. So now the question is, how will our car take off again? Will it be similar to what we just had on the original start? The answer is very likely so, yes, but let's find out. We're back underway, and immediately again having to shift up into second as soon as I get control of the car, and again you can see what we're going to deal with. So today I'm kind of hoping that we have as few cautions as possible because of this exact reasoning right here. I jump down to the inside. Here comes Shane Van Gisbergen to my outside. He's got the 41 of Custer coming with him. Gilliland's going to start pushing me, so that kind of equalizes our speed. That's going to get me up to speed a lot quicker than we would have without that assistance right there. So we'll head into turn 3, clear the 88s now, and back into P26. The sponsor goal, top 25. You know, if you asked me for a top 25 at a mile and a half, you know, 3 or 4 races ago, I'd say absolutely no shot. Maybe if we're lucky and things go our way, but now I feel like we've entered the top 25 consistently on mile and a half, so I'm pretty confident we're going to be able to do that here today, even if we're not running currently in the top 25. But we know why we're not up here in the top 25. It's a pretty self-explanatory reason, as we are now going to start ripping this top and trying to gain the momentum on that tractor. Boats number 3 of Austin Dillon as we exit turn 4, right on his back bumper for that Richard Childress Chevrolet. Now to 10 laps to go in stage 1. We are all going to have to pit here before the stage comes to an end. Nobody in the field can make it on field to the end of stage number 1. So currently Chase Briscoe actually out in front. That number 19's been pretty competitive in some of these recent races. Hasn't quite been able to get to victory lane in his first season with Joe Gibbs Racing quite yet, but he is certainly figuring things out now as we go to the inside of the number 3 of Austin Dillon into turn 3, lap 13, and now we should be able to maybe clear him. Not quite. He's going to rally back on the outside, and he's going to have a bit of that momentum down the straightaway. So as we head through the tri-oval, even cutting down onto the apron, that 3 car is going to once again get clear, and we'd have to settle back in and try to fight back here now, as we've only got 4 laps of fuel left at this point, as we were approaching at lap 15. And here comes John Hunter Nemechek to my inside, actually working his way forward. I was looking for some adjustments, and at rare occasion I'm actually going to tighten up this car because it's a little bit too free for me, and you can kind of see it right there. It's hard to kind of, you know, get an idea, but in the wheel it got super free right there on the exit of turn 4. So we are going to come into the pits here, and you can see us now going through the strategy. We're going to take 4 tires. We're going to go from 49.5 to 50.0 on the wedge. However, we are going to drop the right rear tire pressures as well, just a little bit. So lap 16, exiting turn 4, into the pits we come, and to my surprise, we're going to be the first one coming in here. So we'll come in and we'll get the 4 tires and feel, and there goes the left side Goodyear tires off, and now on the car we're going to have to wait for about 3 additional seconds. Waiting, going at 16.2 second pit stop. We'll get back onto the racetrack here, and everybody is about to start flooding in. You see on the track map a bunch of drivers, I mean almost half the field right there probably just came into the pits at the end of lap 17. So as things start to cycle through, as we come to now lap 18, it's going to be curious to see where we're going to be. Are we going to still be about 25th, 26th, or are we going to gain maybe an extra spot or two by doing the kind of undercut? Well, the answer is we are looking to cycle out right around the guys we were racing. John Hunter Nemechek, Carson Hosever, Austin Dillon actually kind of got away from me, but eventually to the final lap here, after everything had cycled through, we had gotten to 23rd position. Some drivers spitting really late at the end of the stage were the ones that took the big losses, but Chase Briscoe leads off turn 4. He is going to win this first and opening stage, as we are going to just wait for 10th place across the line. Well, that's not going to happen. The caution's going to come up from the 21 of Barry, as our AI slams into the right rear quarter panel of his. Cautions out on the final lap of the stage. We end up 23rd. Fortunately, no actual damage done to the car, because that was after the caution came out. We had no control, of course, and I was considering pitting, and then I realized no one else is pitting, so we are going to stay out and hold on to 23rd for this restart. Now, someone actually would come into the pits, not quite sure who it is, but we do gain one spot because of that. And Josh Berry, who just died in turn 3, is still right up here in towards the top 25, as we'll return to green flag racing. We have one additional lap here in stage 2 because of, actually not because of the caution, that's just what it is. We're going to have 21 laps instead of 20, as Chase Briscoe looking to be pretty competitive here this weekend in Kansas. Could this be where he picks up his first win for Joe Gibbs Racing? Of course, in real life it was Pocono in the 2025 season where he picked up that first win for the team. Of course, in that kind of fuel mileage race he put himself into there, as now here we exit turn number 4 right behind that number 10 of Ty Dillon. That's probably the best we fired off on a restart so far. We didn't really lose a whole lot of ground, as I've got the 88 of SVG pushing me right to the right rear of Ty Dillon, who squeezes us up a little bit there. That was a bit of a maybe over-ambitious move on my end there, trying to kind of catch him off guard and get to his outside as we exit turn 2 down this back straightaway. Now looking behind us, I can see Alex Bowman behind us. I'm wondering if that's the position we gained in the pit stop at the end of stage 1, but nonetheless we're going to continue running this outside line, as we've got a new leader now, the 45 of Tyler Reddick out in front as we come through this trioval to complete lap 2. We are 5 wide very briefly. We're going to back out of that one now into turn number 1. Contact with the 35 of Herbst. We slide into SVG. Both of us save it. We keep going. Here comes the progressive number 11 of Denny Hamlin as well to my inside. Another driver trying to work his way back forward. How did Hamlin get that far back? So maybe was it him? It was either him or Bowman that had come into the pit lane. And speaking of Alex Bowman, he's passed me and he is going 4 wide to the inside, making some great passes here now as William Byron leads this race on lap 4 of stage 2. I mean, absolutely insane racing, and unfortunately, through all of that mess, as awesome as it was, it really went against us, because now we're not even in the top 30. So obviously we've got some work to do. And as we head down into turn number 1, we're on the inside of the 35 of Riley Herbst, who should be able to clear him right here on the exit of turn 2. Not a lot of speed in that number 35. We'll clear him down the back straightaway and continue to work our way forward here over the next few laps now, up to the back of the 4 of Noah Gragson on lap 8 of this stage. Alex Bowman as well. He's not really going very far forward right now. We've watched Denny Hamlin drive away, and Bowman's really not going anywhere. Kind of struggling since he crashed early on in this race now, as my crew chief just on lap 9. Of course, keep in mind we do have to pit a little bit earlier here in stage 2 because we did not pit at the end of the stage. He was recommending me to pit right there, but I wanted to wait a little bit longer because it's a little bit early. So how about this push from Justin Haley, though, that just got me past the 48 and the 38 down now into P29, as I was looking to maybe pit this lap right here at the end of lap 10. I was considering going another lap, but I decided ultimately let's pit right now at the end of lap 10. We're not the only one coming in this time. It looks like is that Ty Gibbs up there pitting as well. So we'll come in once more, we'll get 4 tires, and we'll get back out on the racetrack. That goes to 54 bias right now. We'll exit with a 16.1 second pit stop. So as we get ready to head back out onto the racetrack now, hoping that pitting, you know, just a tad bit again earlier will maybe help us gain some track position, but only one way to find out as we just continue to log laps here. Will we go green to the end of stage 2? We've seen a few cautions so far throughout the day, as now here we go passing the 38, the 71 of Michael McDowell as well, and I'm not quite sure where that's going to cycle us through quite yet. As Ross Chastain's out in front, he is yet to come into the pits now, and he is really stretching his field out much further than I would be able to even consider. As we'll pass the 42, the 88 as well. We're up into the P25. We have definitely made gains, because once all was said and done, we have now gotten ourselves back onto the lead lap, and we are already P20. So things really worked out for us in this green flag pit stop cycle somehow, and we're still passing cars. Who's that on the left side? That's Daniel Suarez. That'll put us into P19, and as well, Denny Hamlin's on the apron up there in front of us, and the 60s into the wall, crash in turns 1 and 2. We briefly or just barely miss the 60 of Ryan Preece, and everybody's going to stay out. We all just pitted, and it's going to be a few lap sprint to determine the end of stage 2. William Byron, he's out in front in position to pick up a playoff point and a stage win as we'll get back underway, and I'm hoping we don't plummet down the order because we have gotten ourselves inside the top 20. It's going to be 2 laps to go here in stage 2. Can we hang on to maybe, I would say, a top 25? Based off the lack of speed on this restart, if we hold on to a top 25, I'll be pretty content with that. Here comes Kyle Busch, Alex Bowman. They're going to blow my doors off here as we head down this back straightaway. SVG gives me a big boost of speed down the back straightaway, however, and that gets us back even with the cars in front into turn 3, coming to the final lap of stage number 2. It's Byron over Reddick and Larson up front as we exit turn 4 down the front straightaway, coming to the final lap now. William Byron in control as we cut down onto this apron, and we should be able to comfortably hang on to a top 25, but could we maybe even try to get one of these guys in front of us, maybe the 48 or the 3 of Austin Dillon as we roll the top lane. Here comes Shane Van Gisbergen back to my inside. We're going to continue to race hard down this back straightaway. SVG's got just enough speed into turn 3 to have the advantage against myself now as we go way up to the outside wall. SVG is going to get us, unfortunately. Coming to the green-white checkered, William Byron takes stage 2. We will have to settle for P25. We just barely held off Daniel Suarez, who was on quite a bit fresher tires than everybody else right there, as there we go. P25, Daniel Suarez is going to stay out actually here at the end of stage 2. Not surprised to see that, but I don't think that's going to be a strategy that works out very well for him, as we'll pit again for tires as well as fuel. No adjustments because I was pretty happy with how the car was driving at this point. We lose 4 spots. Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez, and a few others have stayed on the racetrack. So as we get ready to go back racing, basically the drivers that all pitted at the tail end of the stage before that caution came out are the ones that stay out now. So as once again stage 3 kicks off, we have a very slow restart, but the question is now, I mean, how are things going to work out here? Denny Hamlin, another driver that stayed out right there. So as well, keep in mind, Hamlin, Chastain, Suarez, we know for sure are going to have to pit a little bit earlier than the rest of the field as well here in this 3rd and final stage. So that's something that could be a bit of a curveball, as well as we have now dropped down to 34th place, battling for 33rd down this front straightaway to start stage 3. Of course, a few of those spots are from drivers that stayed out, and then of course the just slow speed on the restart. So I feel like at the beginning of these stages we keep getting further and further behind, and that's a little bit frustrating, but I mean, we still got 25 coming to 24 laps to go, and there's some slower traffic up ahead that are on older tires that are going to hold up some people, I am sure, even though Ross Chastain actually, by staying out, he's still leading as we come through to the start-finish line. So Chastain's doing a really good job holding on, but it's not going to last forever, and it wouldn't, because Tyler Reddick would now get to the lead as we are starting to see everyone kind of stack up a little bit here because of the few guys that had stayed out, and this is going to present some opportunities for me to change things up, change our lane, go wherever we need to go, wherever the space is available. It's kind of like Tetris now, where you're just putting your car wherever the available space is and hoping to advance further into the field field as we continue now on lap 45 down here. Still in P30, Husqvarna into the outside wall, caution. The 77 never even goes around, but clearly a tire down of some sorts, and that brings out the yellow, and everybody will stay out because we cannot make it to the end from here. So Husqvarna blows the tire has reinflated itself as we get ready to go green. We'll be restarting just behind the 38 of Zane Smith. We're down, or up, I guess I should say, to P27. Down from what we were earlier, but up from what we were just, a few moments ago, as Tyler Reddick leads into turn 1. Tyler Reddick yet to win this season in the number 45. He went winless in real life, of course, in 2025. It was not a memorable season for Tyler Reddick. I mean, 23-11 as a whole, it wasn't the most memorable for Bubba Wallace, of course, did pick up that win at Indianapolis, and overall, I personally think Bubba Wallace had the strongest season of the 23-11 racing team, but I mean, overall, we are going to clear the 78. We're back down again to 32nd place with now 20 hitting 19 laps to go as we cross the line. Talladega winner of Austin Cindric just behind myself into turn number 1, and we got to go forward. We're running out of time at this point. We know we have got a car easily capable of being in the top 25 to match that sponsor goal, but just the way things have gone here throughout the day with the restarts, we're seeing more accidents today than we've seen all season at the number 1 track right now, where we don't want to see them because of the slow restart that I get. So we're going to get to the back now of Josh Balicki. We'll take him 3 wide to the outside, and we just continue to go forward. I believe he was one of the guys that stayed out. Same for the 35 of Herbst there, earlier, of course. So now we pass them both, and we're up into P28. So we're just as quickly climbing ourselves back up into the mix as you got the 42 of John Hunter Nemechek that I would pass. Then I would take my outside lane momentum to the inside of the 71 of Michael McDowell, and we're already back up into P26, running down 25th of Shane Van Gisbergen, and now he's behind Bowman. Alex Bowman's just gone nowhere today. It's been a rough day. He was up running towards the top 10 when he had his crash early on, and he's just never recovered from that incident now as we come to lap 53, and we're now in the battle with SVG and Zane Smith as well. Into turn 1, we have re-entered the top 25 as we roll through the center of the corner. This is the only spot where the car gets a little bit tight, and I have to be a little bit careful on that throttle. Down the back straightaway we go, though, side by side with that safety culture 88 into turn number 3. Hopefully we can maybe clear Shane Van Gisbergen now as we roll through 3, and actually our crew chief, hold on, big problems right there. Cars pitting, and Austin Dillon checked up on my nose, somehow no damage, but my crew chief was recommending pitting while we still have 5 laps of fuel left. Now, if it was a stage 1 or 2, I would say okay. But now, in Stage 3, I want to have the most tire advantage possible. So we're going to stretch this run out long and pit pretty late here, as I'm really, really glad we didn't pick up any damage right there with that contact on the back of the 3. More cars coming in, including the one of Chastain. We know him, and Hamlin, just to name a few names. Suarez, they all got to come in earlier than anybody else because of the fact that they've got a little bit less fuel than we do now, as we're looking to the outside of the 2 of Cindric, just rolling that top close quarters racing. And we would continue to rip this top lane as drivers are continuing to come into the pits. I saw Blaney and I think Hamlin as well now into the pit lane here on lap 56 of 67 as we continue to count down the laps before this race ends and before we pit as well, as we're going to get ready to come in here momentarily, and we'll be taking 4 tires. We will be taking 4 tires and fuel to get to the end of this race, and hopefully we can rely on a nice tire advantage to make us pretty competitive. Hold on, there's trouble into turn 1. Someone's gone around. Who is it? It's the 48 of Bowman again. Alex Bowman crashes again, and we were P16, meaning we can pit. Drivers have been trapped a lap down. We're going to take 4 tires. Chase Elliott leads, and several drivers were trapped a lap down, but everybody on the lead lap is pitting, meaning that all the guys that got trapped a lap down get the wave around. So as we go back green, behind the 3 of Austin Dillon, we are now up in the top 20 with how many laps are left at this point? 8 laps to go. we've got a new leader. It's the Atlanta winner, the 43 of Eric Jones for Legacy Motor Club. I don't think that's going to hang on. Kyle Larson, I can confirm, is up there right behind him in P2, and we know Kyle Larson, of course, pole position, hasn't won any of the stages, but he might be in position right here to go on and get the win. He's already passing him. Kyle Larson to the lead. Here you go, as we are now settling in here to P21, as we now look to the inside of the 91 of Castro Neves. They're close quarters racing there, but a contact now. 7 laps to go in this race here. Through the middle goes Reddick. All these fast cars of Briscoe, Reddick. There's a lot of fast cars that were trapped a lap down that had to take the wave around right there, so they are going to be working their way past us over these next few laps to finish off this race, and it's just up for us to hang on the best we can, as Briscoe is sticking with me, giving me a huge push coming to lap 63, which makes me forced to move 3 wide to the outside of the 2 of Cindric into turn number 1. Kyle Larson, he is hoping this stays green because he's running away with the win. The field has been completely flipped over upside down with this poorly timed yellow from the 48 of Alex Bowman late in the race, and some slower cars are holding up a lot of the faster cars behind us, which is absolutely perfect because it's pretty well guaranteeing a top 25 for myself. I thought about going to the outside of the 4, but we would have been 4 wide, and we know that doesn't work out well. We have learned that multiple times this season here now, as we have got just a few laps of racing left, and they are still struggling behind us to get past Ty Dillon and a few other slower cars, and it's absolutely perfect for me. I see in my mirror Chastain that orange Kubota blob basically trying to go forward now, as we would pass the 4 of Noah Gragson and get up into P20. Austin Dillon there on the inside, and John Hunter Nemechek just in front as we come to 2 laps to go here from Kansas. Hamlin and Chastain are getting through the slower traffic, but I don't think they're going to get to us in time, as we'll pass John Hunter for P19 into turn 1, and hoping he'll give me a nice shove down the back straightaway as we approach the final lap of this race here from Kansas Speedway. Kyle Larson is gonna make it back to the white flag. The race is officially official as we head down into turn 1. Look at Briscoe, 3 wide up there trying to go forward and make up some points on the final lap of this race, and what a race it's turned in for us. I mean, so many back and forth highs and lows, and by the end of this thing we're up to P19 as Kyle Larson rolls through 3, and off of turn 4 it's gonna be win number 3 of the season for Kyle Larson in the HendrickCars.com group and that number 5 team, as we'll take P19. Absolutely ecstatic with that. We had probably a 24th, 25th place car on the high end, and we end up getting a 19th place finish out of it with some help, of course, but Christopher Bell ends up second over Joey Logano, one of his best results of the season outside of the Daytona 500 victory there in the season opener, as yeah, you see the rest of the finishing results there. Elio Castroneves, Hamlin was a lap down, and Chastain, so they were still trying to lap down, actually. I thought they had taken the wave around. Blaney as well, so there was a few drivers stuck a lap down, so even if they passed us, we would have held on to our track position. You see the post-race, the playoffs. The playoff situation's pretty close right now. We're 23rd in the standings. Obviously, don't expect us to make the playoffs, but we do gain a spot over Daniel Suarez in the standings, and Kyle Larson, of course, at the top with now 3 wins. We go into what they do call is the All-Star race, but a point race at the same time. Next episode in North Wilkesboro. I'll be curious to see how that one works out. I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.